bad day for Bert. It was a beautiful day on the island of Sodor, and all the engines were working extra hard. And they work hard to complete their jobs on time. They don't like cause confusion and delay. And none of them like to break down, because it's no fun breaking down. One morning, Bert puffed into the sheds feeling very upset. Thomas and Bertram felt sorry for Bert. They began to ask what was the matter. "What's wrong, Bert?" asked Thomas. "You look depressed." "Yes," said Bertram. "We're all worried about you." Bert told his story to the two engines. "Listen," he said, "it's not fair that I have to pull trucks every day instead of coaches," he said. "All I have to do is pull lots and lots of trucks instead of some coaches," he said. "Someday I want to have a change by pulling trucks every day. But will you all keep it a secret?" "Sure," said Thomas and Bertram. "Our lips are sealed, Bert." "Thank you," said Bert. But I hope you all don't tell the Fat Controller about my change, and if you all do, he'll send me to the scrapyards to be scrapped." Thomas and Bertram were in shock. "Don't you worry," said Thomas. "The Fat Controller would never do such a thing like that. We won't tell him, okay?" "Thanks," said Bert. "I know I can count on you all," he said. And with that, Bert felt better and puffed away. Until later that day, he had a meeting with the Fat Controller. "Bert," he said, "I want you to take a goods train to the far side of the line tonight," he said. "There's only 5 trucks, and I need you to take them there for me." "But sir," said Bert, since Nert is not with me this week, can Thomas and Bertram help me?" "I'm sorry, Bert," said the Fat Controller, but Thomas, Bertram and Nert are too busy with their other jobs, so you have to do the goods work yourself." "Okay," said Bert sadly. "But," said the Fat Controller, Bertram will be arriving with your trucks immediately." "Yes, sir," said Bert, and he huffed away. At last, Bert had just arrived at the station when he realised that Bertram was shunting one of Bert's trucks. At last, Bert was buffered up to the trucks. He was coupled to them at last. "Thank you, Bertram," he said. "You're welcome," said Bertram. "Keep up the good work," and Bertram puffed away. The guard blew his whistle, and then Bert puffed away. He began enjoying this, but the goods were heavy, but Bert didn't mind. It was windy and misty, but Bert didn't mind whatsoever. He had still had his lamp on. He went past by a yellow signal. There must have been danger, but Bert didn't realise this. Whenever he struggled up the hill, he'd grind to a halt. Bert was stuck. "Bother," said Bert. "What's happening to me?" His driving fireman looked in his tank. You've run out of water," he said. It's beginning to get dark," said the driver and fireman. "We'll leave you there till the morning." And his driver and fireman walked away. Night came, and Bert was all alone and was feeling cold and lonely. "I wish someone was here," he thought, but there weren't. Soon lots and lots of trees began to fall down and hurt his face. And soon Bert was already covered in trees, and soon no one was able to help him and pull him out. Soon morning began, but it was still foggy. The 3 engines and the Fat Controller were waiting patiently for Bert. What's happening to Bert?" he said. "He should be here by now." Soon he telephoned what was going on. Then he turned to the 3 engines. "Bert has run out of water, and I need the 3 of you to help him." "Sure, sir," said Thomas. "But sir," he said, Bertram, him and I were keeping a secret. He said, Bert said, if he changes his jobs to pulling coaches, he said you would scrap him. The Fat Controller blushed. Me? Scrap my precious engines? No, I would never do that, he said. You're all a credit to my railway. I think that's why he's been depressed yesterday morning, he said. Now, let's go find Bert. And with that, the three puffed away to find Bert. Soon the three engines puffed away to find Bert. They were all worried about him, but they were on their way. The fog was beginning to get strong, but the three didn't mind. They had still had their lamps on, and they could, so that they can see themselves easily. The view was good, but then they both went up the hill. Thomas found a large line of 2 trees. Bert, he said, are you in there? Blow your whistle. At last Bert blew his whistle. Oh dear, said Bertram, we'll get you out. And then the workmen all went to get the trees out of Bert's way. It took 3 hours to get the trees off Bert, but at last Thomas was coupled to his front, and then at last together the three were managing and trying their best to pull Bert and the train back to the station. They hurried together, and they didn't mind what they did together. Soon the day was beginning to end. At last Bert was rescued, and at last the 4 made it to the station with the Fat Controller waiting patiently for them. Well done, you 3, he said to them. He turned to Bert. And Bert, he said, if there are any bad problems, please, you must know it's important if you would tell me and I'll sort it out for you. Thank you, sir, said Bert. But sir, he said, why did you want to make me pull this train in the first place? Well, said the Fat Controller, they were just goods, that's all, he said. Oh, said Bert, I guess I'm through with it. And then the 4 laughed. The Fat Controller smiled. And then Bert was better and was cheered up forever.